My dear students, welcome to GSS Chemistry channel. In today's class, we are going to discuss mutarotation, a part of carbohydrate chemistry, belongs to organic chemistry and also biomolecules. Mutarotation, a term relating to optical activity and optical rotation. All the carbohydrates are optically active. You can take any monosaccharides. Generally, we will discuss mutarotation in the case of glucose, which is a monosaccharide, formula being C6H12O6. All the carbohydrates are optically active due to the presence of asymmetric carbon. Of course, fructose is having asymmetric carbons. There is a elucidation structure in which open chain structure is there, in which aldehyde form is present. And later, the reactions reveal the fact that the aldehyde form is not free, as a result of which it will be in the cyclic form. And so, there will be alpha glucose and beta glucose. Sugars are of two types, capital D sugars, capital L sugars, depending upon the configuration there. So, glucose, capital D sugar. Depending upon the rotation, dextrorotatory, levorotatory, dextro means plus rotatory, levo means minus rotatory, glucose is plus rotatory. And that is why glucose is called capital D plus glucose. And now I am taking that glucose C6H12O6 is the molecular formula. This glucose exists in two forms. This glucose exists in two forms. One is alpha T plus glucose, alpha form. Other one is beta D plus glucose. These two are white crystalline forms, alpha D plus glucose as well as beta D plus glucose. Both are present in the case of glucose. And these two, of course, can be separately prepared. Every monosaccharide exhibits optical rotation. That will be having some specific rotation value, and that value, when once experiment done, the value will never be changed, even though the solution is kept for a long time in the polarimeter. Optical rotation will be measured in an experiment using polarimeter. That is called polarimeter experiment. So here, mutarotation is a new behavior in the optical rotation. What is that new behavior? You have to now learn. For that purpose, first of all, you have to take alpha D plus glucose. Alpha D plus glucose, for which the melting point, of course, it is 146 degrees centigrade. Beta D plus glucose melting point is 150. To indicate that these two are different forms of glucose. Both are aldohexoses. Glucose is an example for aldohexose. Aldehyde group, 6 carbons it is having. For carbohydrates in the nomenclature, the suffix is OSE. Sucrose, mannose, glucose, galactose, OSE is the suffix there. So alpha D plus glucose, how can it be obtained? By taking aqueous solution of glucose and recrystallization at ordinary temperature, at low temperature. Recrystallization of aqueous solution of glucose gives you alpha D plus glucose. And similarly, you can also prepare beta D plus glucose. When the crystallization is taking place at 98 degrees centigrade, above 98, you have to take the solution, then crystallization, recrystallization, then the glucose so obtained is called beta D plus glucose. Or you can take the crystallization of glucose from pyridine solution. When crystallization of glucose is taking place from pyridine solution, the crystal so obtained is called beta D plus glucose. In this way, methods are different to prepare these two. Quite now you are having beta D plus glucose powder as well as alpha D plus glucose powder, white crystals. Now, take alpha D plus glucose, prepare the solution, fresh solution of beta alpha D plus glucose immediately without giving any gap. Immediately pour that solution into polarimeter and note the optical rotation value. I am not going into the details of the experiments, just you have to note the optical rotation value. At that time, the optical rotation value, in terms of specific rotation, I am using here, is equal to plus how much it will be having, some value, because it is having plus rotatory, it will be having some value D plus glucose. Similarly, beta D plus glucose you can take here. Beta D plus glucose obtained from the pyridine solution crystallized, you take the crystals, prepare the solution freshly and then add it to the pour into the polarimeter fresh solution, immediately take the reading. And so this is also, you can note the specific rotation. Both will not be having the same values, both will be having plus values, but will not be having the same values. And here, optical rotation for the alpha value is 112 degrees approximately. Actually speaking, it is 112.2. I am not writing the approximate value plus 112. Similarly, you can take the specific rotation, optical rotation value for beta D plus glucose is plus 19 degrees. Both are different. And now, after noting the plus 112 value, leave it for some time and take the values for periodic intervals. After 2 hours, take the value. After 2 hours, take the value. In this way, at periodic intervals of time, note the optical rotation values as the time proceeds. You can see that the value is gradually decreasing. And after the lapse of 1 day, that means you have to take one day for the completion. So here, after 24 hours expiry of time, take the reading. Then you will get a value of plus 52.7 degrees. 52.7 degrees. After that, the value will not be changed. It remains standstill. At what time the value remains standstill, at that time is known as infinity time. So, this will be taking infinity time, and generally in the case of carbohydrates, we will give 1 day time. After 24 hours, we will take the reading 52.7. After 40 hours, you can take 52.7. Any time you will get the same value, but periodically it is changing from 112, decreasing gradually and remains standstill at the point 52.7. Similarly, you noted the specific rotation value of beta D plus glucose plus 19 degrees. Periodical intervals, you have to note the reading. You see that the value is gradually increased. 30, 40, 50, like that. After the expiry of 1 day, take the reading, it comes to this value. 19 degrees gradually comes to the value and there it remains standstill. That means at this stage, this value is obtained, no more change in the optical rotation value. And so here this one value is changing to 52.7, 19 degrees is also changing to 52.7, and this is what you call standstill equilibrium value. This is constant. There is no change in the optical rotation after adding this value, and that value what you call equilibrium value. Right? This is a new behavior. For any compound, this type of behavior is not shown in the optical rotation. Depending upon the concentration, depending on the length of the polarimeter tube, depending on the temperature, one value obtained, and that value remains constant forever, as long as the conditions are not changed. But here that is not the case. The application is gradually changed from 112 to 52 points of equilibrium value, from 19 to 52 points of equilibrium value. This value is obtained. That is change in application. Change in application is taking place either in beta D plus glucose or in alpha D plus glucose. This new behavior is called meta rotation. So, the change in optical rotation towards equilibrium value, changing towards that latest change already written, the change in optical rotation value towards equilibrium value is called meta rotation. So, this is new behavior in optical rotation. The change in optical rotation by either of these two, you can also write here by alpha or beta D plus glucose. This also you can write here. Change in optical rotation value by alpha or beta D plus glucose towards equilibrium value is called meta rotation. This is a new behavior in the optical rotation. So, you have to now explain why is this meta rotation obtained for glucose. Similarly, fructose also exhibits meta rotation, but fructose is lever rotatory. In the minus scale you will get there, and here in the plus scale you are getting the meta rotations. Now, how to get the answer for this change in optical rotation from 112 to 52 points, from 19 to 52 points? In what way you can get the answer? You have to explain. Explanation needs to be given. And so you have to know the structures, open chain structure as well as the ring structure. Okay, we have to now write the structures. Okay, meanwhile, please note it. So now let us consider the structures of glucose. First of all, let us write the open chain structure. Open chain aldehyde form for glucose, which explains all the properties of glucose. Aldehyde carbon is always first carbon. These 6 carbons will be lying in the normal chain, and there are 4 asymmetric carbons. And you have to write the configurations of H and OH groups, which is called radio configuration. And all these are present in the open chain form. CHO, CH double bond O, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the open chain form. 2, 3, 4, 5 are asymmetric carbons. So here you can write like this. Only for the third carbon, the OH will be left side. Remaining asymmetric carbons, the OH will be on the right side. Right? Write the remaining as hydrogens. CHO, CHOH4, CH2OH. These carbons are asymmetric carbons. C2, C3, C4, C5. Because this is one carbon, this is C2, this is C3, this is C4, this is C5. These carbons are asymmetric carbons. Remaining first carbon is not asymmetric because it is asymmetric carbon, and sixth carbon is CH2OH, it is not asymmetric. And this is the configuration of C2, C3, C4, C5, except C3 remaining carbons will be OH groups on the right side. So this is open chain aldehydral form. Here the CHO group is shown to be free, and that is the properties are shown here. When this is the structure alone present for glucose, it should be having only one optical rotation value. How can you expect this change in optical rotation when there is only one structure? That means as there is meta-rotation, this structure alone cannot explain the behavior of meta-rotation. So here something is there. That is nothing but the ring forms. How are the ring structures you can take here? 5-membered ring. In one point it is unable to explain the facts. So a 6-membered ring is considered. 6-membered ring means from C1 to C5 the ring formation will be taking place. In doing so, C1 carbon will be converted into asymmetric carbon. At present C1 is not asymmetric, and so you have to give the connection from C5 carbon to C1 carbon to C5 carbon. This is C6, of course, you need not consider. Right. So when this H will be transferred to this, ring formation will be taking place for C5O. So when this H is transferred to O, this becomes CHOH. When it is converted to CHOH, fourth bond will be through O, that is linkage, COC linkage, C1O, C5 linkage, and that is a pyranose ring structure. And when this is converted, transferred into this COX, and that first carbon is converted into asymmetric carbon. So you have tried OH on the right side as well left side. When the configuration is different only at the first carbon, then it is called anomer. And so you will get the alpha D plus glucose, beta D plus glucose, which are nothing but examples for anomers. C1 carbon difference is their configuration at the C1 carbon, those are called anomers. So here I am writing C H, or write later H OH H OH H OH H. You have to bring the ring here like this, CH2OH. OH is written to the right side, it is alpha variety. OH is written to the left side, beta variety. This is C1 carbon. So OH is written here, H is written here. This is what you call alpha D plus glucose. Okay. When OH is written to the left side, it is called beta variety. This is beta D plus glucose. In this way we are having alpha D plus glucose, beta D plus glucose. Don't forget C1 carbon and C2 carbon, they are having OH groups to the same side. And here C1 carbon and C2 carbon OH groups are on the opposite side. That is the point of remembrance to recognize alpha or beta variety. So this is alpha D plus glucose, beta D plus glucose. Now you are taking alpha D plus glucose crystals. Alpha D plus glucose crystals. Then it is dissolved in water. Immediately pour it with parameter. Specific rotation, you noted. What is the specific rotation here? Is plus 119 degrees. This is specific rotation. What the pity is, this ring form is unstable in aqueous solution. So the ring is opened and converted into open chain. Aldehydral form. Aldehydral form. So what happens is, just you have to observe, The ring is broken. H is coming as OH. This is converted into CHO. And so it is now converted into open chain form. And once again, this open chain form is not present in the aqueous solution in much concentration. The ring is once again closed. And will be converted into beta form. This is converted into beta form. So alpha D plus glucose is converted into beta D plus glucose through open chain form in the aqueous solution, because in the aqueous solution this ring structure is not stable. Why is not stable? Let us discuss. Similarly, you are taking beta D plus glucose. Here also beta D plus glucose in the aqueous solution is not stable, and that is why the ring opened. And H comes here, and it is converted into CH double bond O, and this is converted into OH, and so it is coming back. So it is converted into open chain aldehyde form. Once again, this ring is formed once again. So it is converted into alpha form. That means beta D plus glucose, ring form is unstable, ring is opened and converted into open chain aldehyde form, that is reconverted back into the alpha form. Beta D plus glucose is converted into alpha D plus glucose through open chain form. Similarly, alpha D plus glucose is converted into beta D plus glucose through open chain aldehyde form. So in this way, rate of conversion of alpha into beta will be equal to rate of conversion of beta into alpha after some time. Then that is called equilibrium condition. At equilibrium condition, this is up to 36%. At equilibrium, this is only 36%. At equilibrium, this will be 64%. That is what we call infinite time. So when the equilibrium concentration is remaining constant, this value will be giving, this concentration will bring some value, this concentration will bring some value, and those values add up, that is the equilibrium value. And here, what is the equilibrium value? After attaining equilibrium, 119 here, this is specific rotation, plus 19 degrees, equilibrium value plus 52.7 degrees. This equilibrium value corresponds to 36% of alpha form and 64% of beta form. Both are interconvertible through open chain form. And of course, at equilibrium, it is so observed that only 0.02% of open chain form is present. That is the peculiarity. That is why some of the aldehyde reactions cannot be answered by this, because open chain form concentration is very much low. That concentration is not sufficient to give some reactions. So we need to discuss all those. So this is the fact. So when the equilibrium is attained, conversion of alpha into beta, beta into alpha, equilibrium is attained, concentration remains constant, and so equilibrium value remains constant, and the constant value is 52.7. This is the case of beta rotation. Using this, we are able to explain. And why is this ring unstable? That we want. Please note it. Now let us consider some reactions of aldehyde. It is able to give the acetal and hemiacetal structures. That point you have to consider to explain this phenomenon. So I am taking here CHO aldehydes present here. When it is treated with methyl alcohol in the presence of HCl, what happens? Nucleophilic addition takes place. Acid H plus from the acid will be added to this becomes C plus, OCH3 will be attacking this. And so what we will get here? C, H, OH, OCH3. So CH, OH, OCH3. And this is called hemi-ester structure. Hemi-ester structure. If you further replace this OH by another OCH3, further treated, suppose further vigorous treatment, or with methyl sulfate you can take, methyl alkyl H2SO HCl, or methyl sulfate you can take here, then this will be replaced by, second OH is replaced by OCH3. This is called complete ester structure. This is hemi-ester. In aqueous solution, this structure is unstable, whereas this structure, ester structure, is quite stable. Remember, this aldehyde carbon, C, OH is there, don't forget, OH is there, this carbon, and this is OC linkage. Whenever C is carrying OH and another OC linkage, then it is called hemi-ester. If the carbon is carrying OC1, OC2, OC is there, OR, then you will correct. This carbon may be carrying other groups, OR or OC. These are two linkages here. This is complete ester structure. If this is the case, this is quite stable. Okay? Okay? Now, let us take this alpha D plus glucose. What is present there? This is C here, like this. This is C. OH here, OH. OCH3, OC linkage. So this structure becomes hemi-ester structure. This structure becomes hemi-ester structure. As I previously indicated, in aqueous solution, hemi-ester structure is quite unstable. That is why the ring is opened. And it is converted into open chain aldehyde form. That is present up to only NOT2%. It is once again ring is reformed and it is converted into beta D plus glucose. If you take beta D plus glucose, this is the carbon, 2H, OH group present and C, OC linkage there. So OH present, OC linkage there. And so this is also hemi-ester form. Both are hemi-esters. And there is both are unstable in the aqueous solution. And the ring is opened up and converted into open chain form and reconverted back. In this way, alpha is converted into beta. Beta is converted into alpha through open chain form until the equilibrium is attained. And that is how you can explain, as the hemi-ester form is unstable, in the ring in the aqueous solution opened up and giving the phenomenon, namely mutarotation. This is the explanation you can give for mutarotation because of the instability of hemi-ester form which is present in alpha D and beta D plus glucose. Okay. Where is the proof for it? Can you show the proof? Yes, we can easily show the proof. Please note it meanwhile. Where is the proof for it? We can easily show the proof for it. Neither alpha methyl glucoside nor beta methyl glucoside exhibits metarotation. Glucose exhibits, but never methyl glucoside. Methyl glucoside, here glucose when treated with methyl alcohol and HCl, only one OH group will be methylated. And that too the reaction will take place at C1 carbon, not at C2, C3, C4, C5. If you want complete methylation, you have to take methyl sulfate and NaOH. That is complete methylation. But in the case of methyl alcohol and HCl, only one monomethylation takes place, one OH will be converted into OCH3. And so here C2, C3, C4, C5, they cannot undergo methylation with this because C1 carbon is becoming anomeric carbon. And at the anomeric carbon, methylation takes place, and that is why it is able to give two derivatives. And so as it is given two derivatives, you have to understand that methylation always takes place at the anomeric carbon. Methylation always takes place at the anomeric carbon, that is C1 carbon. C1 carbon is also asymmetric, which is having OH on the right side, OH on the left side. Now, if you do the methylation, what happens here? Methylation takes place at the alpha carbon only, anomeric carbon only. So here, if you replace this by OCH3, and if you replace this by OCH3, then what will you get there? The scene is completely changed now. This is what you call CO, OCH3, alpha methyl glucoside. This is alpha methyl glucoside. Similarly, at the anomeric carbon, OH3 present at the left side. So this is what you call beta methyl glucoside. Alpha methyl glucoside and then beta methyl glucoside you are getting, right? In the case of alpha methyl glucoside, just to be observed carefully, complete ester will be there where the carbon, CHO carbon, C-double-bond-O carbon is converted into COC. Okay? If you take this carbon, this is having COC one linkage, okay, star, hemi-star, and second one is also OC. The first one is OC, the second one is OC. It is converted into C, OC and OC here. This is what you call complete ester formation. Of course, you can take here R like this. So this is ester form. So if you take here, OC linkage is there, OC linkage is there, and thereby this becomes what? Complete ester form. And even you can take here also C, OC, C, OC, and this is also complete ester form. So ester form is quite stable. Ester form is quite stable. Here also it is quite stable. So as it is more stable, this ring will not be opened up. Ring will not be opened up. The ring is not opened up. So when the ring is not opened up, this is not there, this is not there, this is not there. So the ring is not opened. Ring is not opened. So this alpha methyl glucoside cannot be converted into beta. Similarly, here also ring is not opened. Once again, that cannot be converted into alpha variety. So this will be having its own value, that will be having its own value. And the values will not be changed, even though the solution is kept for a long time in the polarimeter. And so these will be having their own specific values. There is no meta rotation exhibition. Okay? And so in this way, we are able to explain why beta methyl glucoside or alpha methyl glucoside do not exhibit meta rotation. Means they are in the complete ester form. Glucose is in the hemi-ester form. That is, ring is unstable there, ring is stable there. That exhibits meta rotation. This does not exhibit meta rotation. Okay? Okay? Please note it. Now let us try to write the Haworth ring structures for glucose, alpha D plus glucose, beta D plus glucose. 6-member ring, pyranose ring structure. What we call this? Pyranose ring structures. These are nothing but pyranose ring structures. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. C6th carbon is not in the ring. So here we are having two groups. We are having two groups here, two groups here, two groups here, two groups here. Similarly, you can also write C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. Right? Now you have to write the HOH configurations on these. To the open chain structure, whatever OH group is present on the right side, that OH group is written below the ring. And the OH written on the left side in the open chain structure, that is to be written in the above the ring structure, above the pyranose ring structure, Haworth ring structure. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, fifth carbon you need 2, 4, 5. Third carbon, except third carbon, remaining symmetric carbons will be having OH groups on the right side. On the right side means how to write below the ring. Second carbon OH below, third carbon OH above, fourth carbon OH below. 2, 4. These two carbons, second carbon, fourth carbon will be having their OH groups to the same side, below the ring. Third carbon quite opposite to them. Fifth carbon is carrying CH2OH, 1 CH2OH. And the other one is H. Here you can write hydrogens. Similarly here also, those will not be changed. H, OH, OH, H, H, OH, fifth carbon CH2OH and H. C5, C1 through O linkage. Okay, that is pyranose ring structures, Haworth ring structures. Haworth ring structures. If the OH is written on the right side, it is alpha variety. OH is written on the left side, it is beta variety. So OH written on the right side means below the ring. OH written on the left side means above the ring. So this is called beta D plus glucose, and this is called alpha D plus glucose. Right? Beta D plus glucose and then alpha D plus glucose. We are writing this. Remember, first carbon OH and second carbon OH are on the same side. That is the indication of alpha variety. And here the OH, first carbon OH, second carbon, they are in the opposite side. And so this is the indication of beta variety. Right? And of course, you can write the open chain order form in the middle to exhibit the meta rotation, to show the meta rotation. So these are the open chain pyranose ring structures for the glucose by Haworth ring structures, what you call. You can write the puckered ring structure also, because if you take planar ring like this, bond angle strain will be there, the molecule becomes unstable. In the puckered ring structure, the bond angle strain is removed. Pitjet strain, what you call, that is also removed. And so here you can take the other structures like this. This is puckered ring structure. You can give the numbering here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through O link. That is through O link. This is O. Similarly, you can write one more here. Another one through O linkage here. And here, except C1 carbon, write the remaining positions. Here there are, in this case, there are two structures along the plane, equatorial position, perpendicular to the plane, axial positions. So here, this is the this is the equatorial positions. This is equatorial, 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 axial, equatorial, axial. Similarly, here also. equatorial, 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 equatorial. This is perpendicular to the plane. Right? For all the except C1 carbon, the remaining you can take here. All the carbons will be having their OH groups in the equal position to get the stability. So second carbon OH here, third carbon OH here equatorial, fourth carbon OH here, fifth carbon this will be CH2OH, CH2OH. Right. Here also OH here, second carbon OH equatorial, third carbon OH equatorial, fifth carbon CH2OH. Right. The remaining are hydrogens. You have to write hydrogens. Axial position, hydrogen here, axial position, hydrogen here, axial position. You have to show axial position here also, axial position, H here, H here. Similarly, here also you have to write the axial positions, H here, here H, here H, here. That part is over. Now you have to write the OH at the first carbon. If OH is written in the axial position at the first carbon, this is alpha D plus glucose. This is alpha D plus glucose. If OH is written in the equatorial position at the first carbon, then it is called beta D plus glucose. Using these structures also you can explain that will convert into this will convert into, because the ring will be opened. There, here in solution ring will be opened, you will get here open chain form, ring again obtained, ring will be open like this. You can also explain the mechanism, metal rotation using these structures also. That is about the ring structures of glucose, Haworth ring structures, and this is Packard ring structures to give more stability. Okay, this is all about the metal rotation exhibited by glucose, and of course fructose also exhibits metal rotation. Okay, thank you very much for your kind watching of my video lecture.